There is a virtual lockdown in the coronavirus affected countries. India has taken the lead in reaching out to help countries in the South Asian region. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reached out to SAARC countries to discuss the best way forward to help people of our region. This is a big move to contain the spread of coronavirus across the South Asian region, home to a very large population and population density. I'll get to that story. Also on the show, Farooq Abdullah, former Chief Minister of the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir, released from detention after 7 months of abrogation of Article 370. Will Omar Abdullah and Mehbooba Mufti be next? I'm Gaurav Sawant. Let's get started with the headlines on... Coronavirus is a challenge for the entire world and assumes a huge proportion in our region, in the South Asian region, given the large population and population density. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has reached out to countries in the South Asian region. He's proposed that SAARC countries come together to formulate a strategy to combat coronavirus. The Prime Minister proposed a video conference of SAARC leaders to chalk out a strategy. Sri Lanka, Maldives, Nepal and Bhutan are among countries that have welcomed the proposal. I quickly want to cut across to Foreign Affairs editor Geeta Mohan, who joins us for more on the story. So Geeta, what's the strategy and has that state sponsor of terror in our region, Pakistan, has Pakistan responded yet?
Well, no response from Pakistan. All the other countries have responded, welcomed, and most of them talking about it as a statesman-like response or initiative by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. It is a very important statement that comes from Prime Minister Narendra Modi at a time when, Gaurav, you and I have been reporting about how SAARC has become irrelevant. This is reviving and resurrecting the concept of SAARC at a time when the globe, when the world is facing one of the most deadliest challenges, and that is trying to beat the coronavirus. And in that, seeking cooperation with all South Asian members is an important step, an important initiative. All the countries have welcomed it and have really come out and called Prime Minister Narendra Modi a leader, so to say, in the region. But again, we are waiting to hear from Pakistan. Pakistan has been pushing for the SAARC summit. We'll have to wait and see whether they're going to tie this initiative up with the summit that has not been held since 2016 because it is to be held in Islamabad.
Fair enough. Keep tracking that story. I will come back to you for more. For the moment, Geeta Mohan, many thanks. India has intensified its battle against the novel coronavirus. It's been declared as a pandemic by the World Health Organization. 89 people have tested positive. There are 85 active cases in India. With confirmed cases on the rise, Karnataka announced a closure of malls, cinema halls, schools and colleges till the 31st of March. Other states include Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. They've ordered a close down of schools. More in this day's development.
Karnataka has quarantined itself hours after the first coronavirus death in India was reported in Kalburgi. The Yediyurappa government has imposed severe restrictions, probably the toughest in the country. The state shut down malls, theatres, pubs, schools and universities for a week. All sporting events and social gatherings stand banned.
Almost everything will be closed. I am requesting people of Karnataka to cooperate with us for 1 week. Please stay in the house.
No need to panic in Karnataka, so everything.
Not necessary.
Haryana, Delhi, Chhattisgarh, Bihar, Uttarakhand, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh have also shut schools. In quarantine after an employee there tested positive. The Uttar Pradesh government claims it is fully prepared to fight the outbreak.
जनपद स्तर पर 820 बेड पहले से ही हम लोगों ने आरक्षित रखे हुए हैं। 24 मेडिकल कॉलेजेस जो गवर्नमेंट के भी हैं और प्राइवेट के भी हैं, इन 24 मेडिकल कॉलेजेस में भी 448 बेड आइसोलेशन वार्ड के रूप में हम लोगों ने सुरक्षित रखते हुए
One good news, the wife of an Italian tourist in Jaipur who was positive for coronavirus is cured. India today visited the ITBP Chawla camp where Wuhan returned Indians are under quarantine. 112 people are released from the camp after 14 days.
वो बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं. हमको एक्चुअली एक्सपेक्टेशन से ज़्यादा अच्छी केयर मिली है यहाँ पे. डॉक्टर्स 24/7 हमेशा मौजूद रहते हैं. कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो तो रोज़ मेडिकल चेकअप होता है. क्लीनलीनेस काफ़ी अच्छा है और आप जैसे देख सकते हैं बेड्स के बीच में भी उन्होंने काफ़ी डिस्टेंस बना के रखा है. तो हमारा यहाँ पे रहना काफ़ी आरामदायक किया था उन्होंने. जितना हो सके उतना स्ट्रेस फ्री थे हम लोग.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi took stock of the situation on Friday. He has appealed to all South Asian nations to form a strategy to fight the disease. Bureau Report, India Today.
And from Prince Charles to Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump, world leaders are abandoning the handshake and opting for the traditional Indian greeting, Namaste, folding hands to greet in the times of coronavirus. And this, according to doctors, is one of the best ways to avoid contact and contamination.
Leaders across the globe have said goodbye to the germ-ridden handshake. They have all adopted Namaste, the Indian traditional greeting to ward off coronavirus. Even the British royalty, who probably gave us the handshake. Prince Charles was seen doling out Namastes left and right to guests at a Commonwealth event in London. Donald Trump, the only world leader to have played down the threat of coronavirus, is now opting for the safer greeting. No hugs, no handshakes. He greeted Irish Prime Minister Leo Varadkar with a Namaste.
You know, I just got back from India and I didn't shake any hands there, and it was very easy because they go like this.
French President Emmanuel Macron too welcomed the Spanish royals at his residence with a Namaste earlier this week. The French First Lady Brigitte Macron also played her part, blowing a kiss in the direction of Queen Letizia as a way of greeting. Some 5,000 kilometers west, Israeli leader Benjamin Netanyahu stated he'd already sworn off handshakes to keep the lethal bug at bay, suggesting all Israelis to do the same. He even demonstrated how to do Namaste the proper way.
Corona Namaste. Now let me tell you some greetings in India that you can do to say no to Corona. Khama Gani Hukum. This from Rajasthan, but who's stopping you from doing it? Sat Sri Akal from Punjab. Sab changa si. And one of the sweetest greetings. Aada barze. Mehman nawazi mein koi kami nahi. And go to the villages, then you can say Ram Ram Hujur. And then the universal Namaskaron ka Namaskar, Sabka Satkar. With video journalist Vinod, this is Mosmi Singh in Delhi for India Today.
So Namaste is perhaps the best way forward to avoid contamination. But let me now move to the good story, the good news story from Jammu and Kashmir. Former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister and National Conference patron Farooq Abdullah was released from detention after 7 months under the stringent sections of the Public Safety Act. So after being released, Farooq Abdullah said he will be able to take a decision on his future only after other leaders still detained are set free. After 7 long months in detention, the former Chief Minister of the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir, Farooq Abdullah, is finally a free man. The Jammu and Kashmir administration on Friday revoked the stringent Public Safety Act against the 5-time Member of Parliament.
Today I don't have words to feel the way I feel today. I'm free.
But the National Conference patron said he would be a happier man when his son Omar Abdullah and former Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti of the PDP are also released from detention.
Freedom will be complete when all leaders, Umar, Mahboobaji, and all the others who are in either prisons in the state or outside the state, or are in MLA hostel, or in various buildings where they have been put under house arrest.
Political leaders from across the valley echoed Farooq Abdullah's demand that other leaders detained should also be released immediately.
All political detainees who do not have any criminal charges against them should be released, including Mr. Umar Abdullah, Mehbooba Mufti ji and others, so that a genuine political activity can be restarted.
हमें उम्मीद है कि डॉक्टर फारूक अब्दुल्ला प्रिवेंटिव कस्टडी से बाहर आने के बाद जम्मू कश्मीर की जनता की भलाई के लिए काम करेंगे और वो जो पुराना अंदाज था उनका उसको छोड़ देंगे.
With no major terror incidents reported in the valley in the past 7 months, there is hope that other leaders detained may also be released soon.
Dr. Farooq Abdullah has been under restrictions with regards to his movement right immediately when the Article 370 was scrapped on August 5th. The major decision was taken at that point of time. He, along with a lot of other political leaders, have been under detention. But today, that order has been revoked. A big decision that the government has taken here in Srinagar. With cameraman Rauf Shujaul Haq in Srinagar for India Today.
So what led to this? Joining me on the show is Narendra Taneja, spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, and Dr. Sameer Kaul is the spokesperson of the National Conference. Narendra Taneja, what made the government suddenly decide to release Farooq Abdullah? How was he a threat to public safety in August and no longer a threat today?
Gaurav, I mean, Dr. Farooq Abdullah, for that matter, other leaders, they are all highly respected, leaders of the people, and we, government of India, Bharatiya Janata Party, we hold them in very high esteem. But you see, the situation, developments at that time were such that step had to be taken. They have been democratically elected several times, former chief minister and all that, and tremendous respect for them. But those times were like that we had to take those measures because there was a country across the border, with the agents in Jammu and Kashmir working there. The new initiative had been taken, they all kind of, so that it became at that time the decision was something which government had to take.
Dr. Kaul,
and now the decision that the government
so there's
has
no
taken,
explanation. You've repeated yourself thrice, sir. Dr. Kaul, what does the NC make of the government move? Because there clearly doesn't seem to be a reason why he was detained and why he's been released.
At the very beginning, let me share the joy of the National Conference people and the people of Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh that the tiger is back. He's back amongst us and will breathe the same air as all of us outside do. The orders of ordering a public safety detention, first a normal detention, then a public safety detention thereafter, to prevent law and order disturbance in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, was ill-conceived and inappropriately put. Absolutely no doubt about it. The order was revoked also in the same eccentric fashion.
Eccentric fashion is...
Possibly some good sense may be dawning on the leaders, the rulers that be.
Fair enough. Narendra Taneja.
That we go positive from here, because it's been an incomplete redemption. All the other leaders are still in jail, and they're all part of the August 4 Gupkar declaration. The other chief ministers and of course the other important members of our party, they need to be released, and we need to meet soon. We need to exchange ideas to take this forward.
Fair enough. Narendra Taneja, 8 opposition parties sent a joint resolution to the government. These parties demanded the immediate release not just of Farooq Abdullah, Member of Parliament, but all political leaders who were detained in Kashmir, saying that in this manner, democratic dissent was being muzzled. coercive administrative action was being taken. This, according to this letter, was a threat to the idea of justice, liberty, equality, fraternity as enshrined in our constitution. Did that force your hand, sir?
Well, you know, Gaurav, we have seen in the state, you know, there have been extraordinary times, and in extraordinary times you have to take some extraordinary decisions and measures. It's not the first time, you know. Just my friend from the, you know, from Jammu and Kashmir is forgetting one thing. For how many years the same Congress party which has been a signatory, you know, put Senior Abdullah in prison, 11 years. Now, the point is that this was something which the government had to do very reluctantly. We didn't want to do that, but the government had to take that measures, and at the same time calling it eccentric and all that, you are entitled to your views. But these are political decisions. Political decisions taken in the interest of democracy, taken in the interest of stability of the state. And, you know, and those were taken only for that reason. And we respect, you know, we are for democracy and we respect all these reasons. As I said earlier, you said I repeated 3 times, I will repeat 30 times. We respect them. Gaurav, you may
Sir,
have
if you respected them, if you genuinely respected them, you wouldn't have put them in jail under Public Safety Act. You wouldn't have detained them under PSA. There are terrorists who've been detained under PSA in the past.
Let me answer.
Why elected leaders?
Let me answer.
Former chief ministers of the state, former union ministers, current member of parliament.
Gaurav, let me. Well, if you remember in the past, you're conveniently forgetting the history of India. Many respected leaders had been put in prison for, you know, under different kind of laws and clauses. That happens. Those are political decisions. As I said, we respect them. But the decision was a political decision, and now this again is a political decision. They are respected leaders of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. For that were the people of India.
Dr. Kaul, is there merit in the administration saying that keeping these leaders in detention help keep the situation calm? It was a very tricky situation. A big decision has been taken. There have been no incendiary statements or speeches that they may have been compelled to make at that point of time.
These are statements made to justify an act, however wrong. But whether it was the Congress party earlier or whether it is the BJP now, this is exactly how the state and its leaders, and particularly those who stand and stood for the idea of India, have been treated and are continuing to be treated. So make them wrong, completely mishandled from time to time, political misadventures, if I may call them.
At the same time, I mean, you may think of this as a political misadventure, but if I may, sir, there has been no incident, no incendiary speeches, no major violence, no major terror attack, and the situation appears to be calm, maybe improving. So this was perhaps a very good decision.
Except the air and the water, which there is in plenty, and of course electricity, which comes erratically, everything else has been locked down. And then you're expecting people do not want to rise unnecessarily. They are not for violence. No Kashmiri wants violence. Can they ever want violence with so much of breach of peace in their lives? Nobody wants it.
So you and I have both seen many cycles of violence in the valley on ground zero. So, you know, let's stay in the real world. We've seen many cycles of violence in NC regime, in PDP regime, in central regime. There have been many cycles of violence, and fortunately this time none. So is that something to be hailed?
I would, while I join you, of course, while I join you in your anticipation and happiness that there continues to be no violence, but let me assure you that the surface may look calm, but down inside, like I said, people are unhappy for the way they have been treated. The leaders have been treated, their liberties have been trampled. They're upset. Let's at least accept that. Let's have the temerity to say, sorry, maybe we were wrong. Maybe we will redeem. But there's nothing wrong in doing that. We are one country. We are one people.
I'm sorry. Maybe some are upset and maybe some are happy. We will only know when there is voting. You know, maybe there is a new class that is emerging, Narendra Taneja. But is there merit in the criticism, Narendra Taneja, that the government move has been rather ad hoc and knee-jerk? And is it perhaps fear of a court reprimand that made you take some of the steps that have been taken?
No, the decision has been very well thought through, very well meditated, and you can see the results. Majority of people of Jammu and Kashmir, they are satisfied with what the government has done, and the government has delivered on the ground. They are happy and satisfied. They are. I mean, and then at the same time, you know, Mr. Colwood is conveniently forget one thing. The same persons we are discussing here and the same party had been kind of, you know, they have served as minister, cabinet minister, minister of state for external affairs and so on and so forth. That's because we hold them in very high esteem. But the point is that here, when it comes to the state we are discussing, Jammu and Kashmir, it's not only about the people of Jammu and Kashmir. It's not only about these leaders. Pakistan plays a very important role. ISI play a very important role.
Well, I'm sure
ISI
the government will make
very important
or
role.
should
We
make
can't
them
completely
irrelevant.
discount them.
Should make them irrelevant. 70 years was long enough, but let's hope in the times to come, a state sponsor of terror and its elements are made completely irrelevant.
And that's what precisely we have managed to do.
Okay, we shall see what happens in the coming weeks and months. Very, very crucial summer of 2020 ahead.
Gaurav, the truth,
Yes,
Gaurav,
sir, 30 seconds. Do you think that political activity will now return if others are also released?
That once, yeah, very quick one. Well, I feel that now that Kashmiris, in the sense, have been taught a lesson.
I'm sorry, why would you keep saying that, sir?
Decided, I think people will have to be let out of jail
this is
to
not
decide what to do.
That was not that.
I think the summer of 2020 will be very clear. Is that same narrative going to continue for another 70 years, or will we see a new narrative in Jammu and Kashmir? What is this? I just fail to understand, but I hope to see the situation on ground zero and report from ground zero in the summer of 2020. Gentlemen, many thanks for joining me. That is all we have time for on the show this evening. Many thanks for watching.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.